So I mean, um, I do believe that there's a shift going on to digital assets, not just cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just a sliver of digital assets as a whole. Um, and I don't know who's going to be the winner out of all of this. Right now, Bitcoin is the leading horse for a variety of reasons. I think, from a technological standpoint, the protocol, scarcity value, there's reasons why it's done well. But as a wealth advisor, I see digital assets as a kind of alternative asset class that can fit into a broader portfolio strategy for clients. Now, obviously, that depends on who I'm talking to, where they are in their life, their time horizon, their risk profiles, and all of that kind of stuff. But and definitely given the high level of uncertainty and volatility associated with the asset class, really only a small allocation is prudent. But I do believe, and for what it's worth, I think there is a big risk to advisors, to wealth managers that don't or are slow to adopt digital assets into their framework of how they
Gotcha.
think about portfolio construction.
Gotcha. What would you say is the biggest myth with wealth building? Just like, in the fitness industry, you see those all the time. It's what it's known for. But what about in the financial world?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one, and it's pretty pervasive, and I think it stops a lot of people from trying to, aspire to whatever their creative endeavors might be, and living an authentic life and making a living out of it. It crazy, mind-blowing newsflash is that you can do those things. You can make a living by living your authentic life and following your passions. But I think the biggest myth is that you have to be some incredibly smart or entrepreneurial person. Today's society, we glorify billionaires and we put them on pedestals. We praise the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world that built some app and went and on to be incredibly successful, and or that you have to get a PhD in astrophysics and get hired by some Wall Street hedge fund to make millions of dollars. And it creates this mental image for people that you have to be some phenom, that is just not true in terms of wealth building, or living a more authentic life that that you can kind of unburden yourself from with the corporate way or something like that, and I think also that's very destructive to wealth building as well, because if you're not living an authentic life, then you're probably also going to be spending your money on things that are band-aids to the internal anguish that you might have because you're not
Gotcha.
happy, and those things don't actually solve the problem. So you're constantly looking for the next fix to make you feel better or give you that purpose. And that's why people go in and out of fads so much and all of this kind of stuff. And anyway, I think but I do believe that there's a large myth out there that you have to be particularly smart or have some amazing business idea, and it's just not true. It's not all or nothing like that. I mean, but in society we definitely idolize the people that are just beyond worldly successful. No one needs to try to aspire to those heights.
Well, that's great news in my opinion with everything you just said.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're living, breathing proof right now that you don't have to go the pre-scripted path, and you
Yeah.
can figure out a way to make a living and provide for your family and be successful and have fun while you're doing it and do the things that you want to be doing. You're specifically, this podcast wouldn't exist if you didn't want to be actually doing it. No
Awesome.
one's telling you that you need to do it.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And now, are you able to give us a little sneak peek into your portfolio? Doesn't have to be specific, just type of things you invest in or anything you're working on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in, practicing what you preach. I just wouldn't be able to like live with myself if I'm like over here, like, you know, gambling in these stocks and day trading and all this stuff while preaching, hey, long-term asset allocation, like diversified portfolios,
Yeah.
low cost, da 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 da. So that's, I mean, there's really nothing too exciting with what I do. It's portfolio strategy of diversified, primarily ETFs, stocks, bonds, and I do have a bit of crypto that over the last year has become a bigger allocation than is probably prudent at this point, because of how well it's done. So I guess good problems to have. It's
There you go.
argument for rebalancing the portfolio, keeping the risk tolerance in line. But yeah, so it's nothing too sexy or exciting there. Other than that, I've been plowing money into Faubion Wealth Management.
Awesome.
And so that's, when you look at the balance sheet, that's the biggest asset for sure. So I've got
Awesome.
a high concentration in a very illiquid private asset
That's
that
great though.
God willing and knock on wood, only becomes more valuable over time.
Awesome, man. I'm definitely rooting for you. And so this is going to be the last part of the show. I want to give you the floor for the last minute or two. Can you give our listeners a few concrete steps that they can take today if they want to be financially free, or as you put it, live their authentic life?
Yeah, no, so that's great, and thank you for kind of the free range here.
Of course.
I'd say one, kind of, I definitely like giving practical tips to people, and obviously this is going to depend on who's listening and all of that kind of stuff. But I highly recommend tracking your financial picture on an ongoing basis. I've got financial planning tools that allow me to do it very sophisticated. It integrates into, basically an entire, holistic wealth plan and strategy. You don't need that though. I've been a user of mint.com for a decade before I started
Awesome.
using my planning tools. I remember, like, I'm a big fintech kind of geek. I'm always seeing the new thing coming out and just tinkering with it. And when Mint came out, we were in college, and I've been using it ever since. And you download the app, you link up your accounts, and it tracks the flows. It tracks your income, it tracks your expenses, it categorizes things. You're able to make budgets. There's a lot more stuff to it. It's basically like a financial planning light tool, and it's free. Now you have to deal with
Amazing.
with the ads. They're gonna try to sell you, like, car loans and credit cards and all that kind of stuff. But whatever, they can have my data for good financial habits. And just get in the habit of, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, like, just start tracking, and you'll start to see trends. You'll start to see where your money is going. and you'll be able to say, you know what, I didn't realize I spent so much money on, I mean, the joke is coffee or avocado toast or whatever. I don't know what it is, but maybe you spend a lot of money at In-N-Out or something like that. I mean, here in California, it's really hard to not go to In-N-Out.
Yeah.
But you'll start to see things and you'll say, you know what? That's really not where I want my money going. I'd rather have it go to savings. I'd rather have it go to books, or I'd rather have, I'd rather it, I don't know. That's where it's so impersonal, right? Like, but you're able, the knowledge is power, right? You don't know what you don't know. And if you don't track things, if you don't understand the flows, the cash flows, then you're really, again, you're feeling around in the dark. My wife and I, we have budget dates every month. We go over what's happened over the last month and we track what's going to happen over the next month.
Amazing.
And, I highly recommend it if you're married and have, joint finances. And even if you don't have joint finances, that's okay too. But being on the same team about it makes a lot of sense. So that's one practical thing. It's free. Go use it. Mint.com. They should pay me for this, but they don't. So
you'll have to get sponsored.
Yeah. You hear that, Intuit? Give me your
Awesome.
money. No, just kidding. So, and then, again, that kind of dovetails into living the authentic life is, being able to start, take a step back and think about what do you want to be doing? Where do you want your money to be going? And start crafting that life that you want for yourself. And if it's starting a business and getting out of corporate America, well, good on you, and start saving because you're going to have to learn you're going to have to make it on no income for a while. And there's going to be startup costs and all that kind of stuff. So you got to start saving for that. And, you got to know where the money is going to be able to start doing things like that. So I think it's really integral to everything.
Awesome. So where can people connect with you, or if they wanted to hire you? I'm going to link everything in the show description for you.
Yeah, no, so pretty active on Twitter. So you can find me. My handle is at Matt Faub. That's Matt with 2 T's, and Faub is Faub. And that goes back to high school days. All my friends used to call me Faub, short for my last name, Faubion. So you can find me there, pretty active. And then also my website is Faubion, last name, WM for wealthmanagement.com. I've got a blog, I've got a podcast that you can see kind of my insights and whatnot. So you can read up on me, and just in general, check out my business there. And yeah, I'd say those are, and all my contact information is there as well. So if you're interested, you can reach out for sure. Would love to have a conversation.
Perfect. And thank you everyone for tuning in to the Mission Driven Made podcast. If you found value in this, please like, subscribe, and share. Matt, thank you so much for bringing value to all our listeners today. And thank you for being mission driven.
Yeah. Thanks, Jake. So glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.